What is up, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Before I get started, I would like to send a special shout out to the newest subscriber, W War WWE 2K. Thank you so much. If you're interested in watching wrestling video games, check his channel out. It's awesome. Also, before I get started on the review, I got a couple of interesting things I want to talk about real quick. First off, if you haven't seen my community posts, be sure to check those out. I post interesting things on there. Um, I heard that Jeff Hardy will not be serving extra jail time. He is credited for 38 days. However, the bad news for Jeff is that he will have to have a Uber and Matt Hardy, as well as his wife, if they're still married. They will all have to be his Uber drivers for the rest of his for the next 10 years because his driver's license has been revoked until 2033. So Matt, his wife, and other Ubers and taxi drivers will have to drive Jeff Hardy around from now on for the next 10 years, which is not bad news in case, God forbid, he has too much to drink one day and at least he won't get into any trouble for drunk driving because drunk driving is a very serious issue. DUI is a very serious issue. And if you don't believe me, ask Bill DeMott, who unfortunately lost his daughter to such circumstances. So thankfully, Jeff won't serve any more time. The only thing is he won't be able to drive for the next 10 years. So, but hey, let's be easy on the guy because addiction is a beast. It's very hard to beat. There are some people in this world who, when they get through a whole week without ordering Hubway sandwiches where you don't eat fresh, that'll be a celebration just to get past 1 week. So, that being said, Matt Hardy says that Jeff is better than ever. So let's take his word for it. Hopefully, all is well. Let's get started with our SmackDown review, shall we? We opened up the show with Jimmy Uso getting a quick word with Kayla Braxton, and also we have a segment with Rey Mysterio and Santos being interrupted by Mr. Simp 19, but we'll get into that a little later. We opened up the show with a six-man tag tonight with Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and Madcap Moss, whom I used to call Magic Mike Moss, versus Imperium. And in the match, we saw a wild card being Drew McIntyre coming out to the ring to observe Walter, aka Gunter. Does this mean we're going to see Drew versus Walters at some point? At a WrestleMania, maybe? That sounds good. I don't know. But it looks interesting. Nonetheless, Imperium would eventually win this match, and the Raiders would attack Drew, and Sheamus would come out, and of course, Braun and Ricochet would get involved on the outside fight, which had them all four men standing: Ricochet, Braun, and the Bros. We need a name for Drew and Sheamus. We need a name, an appropriate name. Nonetheless, we have another match or second match of the evening was LA Knight versus the Nerd Day member Kofi Kingston. Let me just say that was a pretty good match we saw earlier tonight. That was really good. Kofi versus LA Knight. LA Knight. And it's funny, I remember when Bray Wyatt said, "Who names themselves after a city like LA?" Well, I know two people who named themselves after Los Angeles: LA Knight and a former actress from another realm that I will not talk about. But another person from LA who has those initials is a woman from that industry, and now she's a podcaster talking about football. So at least she did something much more morally correct. But in any event, moving forward, off topic, back on track, LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston was a great match. The whole thing with Xavier Woods and the trombone thing was funny. It reminds me of when Triple H blew that little trombone thing in front of the Spirit Squads on Saturday night's main event. That was funny. And congratulations, Kofi Kingston, for winning. And not to mention, he has a very historical Black History moment of his own, winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan, now known as Bryan Danielson. Also, I heard, speaking of fun facts, that this past weekend was the most watched Elimination Chamber of all years past. That's awesome. Moving forward, excuse me, we had Charlotte Flair coming out, and it was supposed to be a face to face moment where Charlotte and Rhea Ripley talked it out in a promo. First of all, we got some good mic segments here tonight. Between LA Knight getting made fun of for the fake jacket and the Nerd Day insults, tonight was filled with some pretty good mic segments. We also had back to Charlotte. Charlotte called out Rhea, instead got Rhea's how do I say it? Rhea's submissive man, Dominic. Dominic should change his name, because if Rey Mysterio is the master of the 619, then Dominic Mysterio should change his name, because there is nothing about him that says Dom. In fact, everything about him screams Simp 19. On this channel, for those of you who are new, I make fun of villainous wrestlers, and since Dominic is villainous, I will call him Simp 19, because he is so submissive to Rhea Ripley. He turned on his father for a woman. In fact, he comes out and totally gets owned by Charlotte. I mean, he made a butt out of himself by admitting that he gets crushed by Rhea and Bear. He basically admitted that he is a sexually submissive masochist. That's what Dominic admitted tonight. And of course, Charlotte owned him by alluding to Andrade, who she's married to in real life. Andrade's on AEW. She alluded to him saying, "I'm married to a real Latino." Ouch. And before Charlotte could slap the taste out of Simp 19, Rhea Ripley comes out and gets in her face, and Simp 19 pulls Rhea away. But I think Rhea versus Charlotte this year at WrestleMania is going to be a great match, just like the last couple of times they went together. I think that's going to be great. But something is telling me this is Rhea's match to win. I don't know. Anything can happen. Sorry about that. Also tonight, Natty versus Shayna Baszler was what I like to call a Smackdown short. Thankfully, we haven't gotten a lot of those since Triple H took over. But that was a Smackdown short, which Lady Kane accompanied Natalya and Rousey accompanied Shayna. And when they were about to do damage at the end, as Natalya tapped out when Shayna used Rousey's submission hold, Tegan got in the ring and they walked away. And what was so hilarious is, why is Rousey talking about Skittles and tasting the rainbow? I don't get it. Also, that I was hoping that because WrestleMania went Hollywood, that WWE would do funny parodies like they did at WrestleMania 2005. I was hoping they'd do that again this year. Thankfully, they will. And the one for this week is Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch as Bat. I love how Becky Lynch did the Batman voice, because when you think Batman, you think of the voice. And I always thought Christian Bale needed to cough after being the Batman. Where's the trigger? I'm not wearing hockey bat. Let me do my best Batman impression. I don't need any help. What gives you the right? I'm not wearing hockey pads. Swear to me. Where's the trigger? Where's the trigger? I never gave it to another session. Where is it? Where's the trigger? That Batman and Joker impersonation by Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch was awesome nonetheless. I can't wait to see what the parody is next week. Speaking of entertainment, Bray Wyatt left us a little perplexed tonight. He had his Firefly Funhouse, and all he could ask was, "Can you keep a secret?" That's something kids say, and the only time adults should say that is with another adults, because usually when adults say, "Can you keep a secret?" that's scary. But in any event, Bray Wyatt left us wondering when he asks one simple question: "Can you keep a secret?" Don't know what to make of that, but it's interesting. 619 faced off against Cross, and Rey Mysterio was rolling. He was really rolling. He was about to go for the 619, and Scarlett, who looks like a dominatrix, got caught in the ropes. She fell as Rey Mysterio was using the ropes for leverage, or for speed, should I say, and Simp 19 ruined the whole thing. I'm telling you, one day Rey Mysterio is going to snap, and we're going to have a match at WrestleMania. The master of the 619 versus the master of the Simp 19. And it's ironic that the last time WrestleMania was in Los Angeles, it was Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul. Rey Mysterio won that match. I hope this year Rey Mysterio wins this match. The only difference is we actually like and miss Eddie Guerrero. But I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, we'll get that sooner than later. Also, tonight we had Jimmy Uso asking to talk to Jay. At first, gets Sami Zayn. Let me tell you, Sammy is the most popular thing going in WWE right now. Who knew? If you told me as a YouTube reviewer or a commentator a couple of years ago that Sami Zayn would be the most popular person right now, I don't know if I would have believed you. But Sammy is the most popular person right now. And tonight he came, him and Jimmy exchanged words. Jay appears in the audience again, just like Shield used to do back in the day. And Jimmy and Sammy fight it out. Sammy escapes before Solo could get in the ring, and Sammy just walks off, and the show ends. I still think that the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is going to happen at WrestleMania. I predict the Usos versus Sammy and them for the tag team championships at WrestleMania, and that will be awesome. So, Ray versus Simp 19 and the Usos versus the Montreal Warriors are two matches that I predict will happen. Who will win? I don't know, but I know it's going to happen eventually. So let me know what you think of tonight's broadcast of Friday Night SmackDown in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this review. I'm your host, Daniel Code, and that's all the time I have for you today. And I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. I should be posting a community post of Ric Flair in tribute to his birthday tomorrow. And if you haven't seen it, I have a post up with Shinsuke as well. And also, happy birthday, Shinsuke Nakamura. See you guys next time. Hope you have a great weekend.